Hello, hello, hello. I'm all alone here. Hello. Am I live? Okay. Hi guys. How you all doing? I'm sorry I'm late. And I apologize for my camera quality. I learned that I plugged in my normal camera and I learned that the battery was dead, so I apologize. How you all doing? Here's the thing. I'm sick. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to disappoint you guys and do the live stream tomorrow instead of today, because I feel like people I've already made it like kind of far away. I said it kind of far and I was like, you know what? I can do it. So how you all doing? I hope you're good. Let's try to figure out what's happening in Syria. Obviously, it's a bit complicated, but also extremely simple. And I want to say it's simple because, to be honest, those are a lot of different groups that have the same vision, right? They are fanatics of some sort. Some are Shiites, some are Sunnah, some just are imperialistic, some just want money, but to be honest, all of them want money. So it's pretty simple. A lot of people who are into power, who are fighting each other in Syria right now. So what happened was that because of the fight that Israel had against Hezbollah is very active in Syria as well. You guys are good. Keep it simple. Well, I'll try to keep it simple. I'm sorry guys. By the way, I'm live on Discord as well, so if you guys wanna join in on Discord and just speak as well and ask questions, you're welcome to. All right. I'm sorry for being sick, and I hope my sneezing is not too bad. All right. How informed are you guys? I don't know how you're doing. Okay, you guys. I'm gonna start with saying hello. Hello, darlings. Hi, no. Hi, hello. West wanna put pressure on Russia. I'm not sure. Dylan, thank you so much. Yeah, I hope I feel better soon. Shana, I know nothing about Syria. Okay, so let me start from. I actually thought, guys, maybe we should talk about Syria from the start, like a given historical rundown, but I also didn't know how much of that would be interesting. So let's talk a little bit about what is Syria. I'm obsessed with Syria. Amazing. If there is anyone here who wants to join me on Discord who is an expert on Syria, you are welcome. There were several. I'm sorry, I'm sick, so I'm slow. I apologize ahead of time. No need to worry about Erdogan. 9 Palestinian protests arrested in Turkey. There is a lot. No need to worry about Erdogan. There is a lot to worry about Erdogan. Erdogan is crazy. First of all. Oh, you're close to. So if you want to come to the Discord, you are more than welcome. I'll post the link again. I do think there is much to worry about when it comes to Erdogan. I mean, there isn't. Depends on who you are. Hi, Tag Mechir Tzadek. How you all doing? All right, let me just wait for a second to see people are gathering. Thank you for everybody who's saying hi. It's good to see you. So here's the thing with Syria. Syria used to have a good amount of Christian population that is going extinct, obviously. one of the biggest worries right now is defending the Syrian, the Christian population. Some of them ran into Kurdish territories so that they could get protection from the Turks, from the Kurds. It's not that the Kurds are amazing. The PKK, for example, are communists. You know, there is something that I like saying to people who talk to me about Islam, is that I understand, like, bashing Islam is good and important, but that's just one manifestation of crazy. And there are a lot of different manifestations of crazy that are possible. Communism, you know, it's like it doesn't have to be Islam. It's just, that's also important, right? The National Socialist movements, like the Ba'ath Party, that was, for example, took over during the, I feel like the late 50s, I think, it was already 57, 59. And they took over Iraq, and then they took over Syria. And there was a coup attempt by the Americans in Syria as well to take the Ba'ath down. So officially, and this is like the party of Saddam Hussein, if I'm not mistaken, officially they're not Muslim, they're not Islamic. They were a National Socialist movement, but not the Aryan type, but the Arab type. So you can understand by me saying that that was a National Socialist movement that took over, and that wasn't necessarily Islamic per se. They were still National Socialist, just the Arab type instead of the Aryan type, which is the more famous type. But they had the same ideology. So, and then you have the PKK, which are communists. You know, it's like you take out one bad and you get another bad. And I don't know if you guys watched my video on what's gonna happen if Israel disappeared. I talked about the fact, for example, that even now, I mentioned that Syria is like that playing ground of everybody. Everybody's like checking each other out in Syria. So what was happening now is because Hezbollah got weaker since they miraculously won against Israel, and because they miraculously won against Israel, and Israel ran away with the tails, with its tail between its, between its legs, and it's like, oh wow, they did such an amazing job, you cannot deny how glorious the win of Hezbollah was. And I'm being cynical for those who don't understand my cynicism. Hezbollah took a really, really significant hit. But unfortunately, when it comes to this area of the world, there is one rule and one rule only. You need to feed your ego, whatever it takes. So the story you're telling is the story that feeds your ego. So of course, Hezbollah, when Israel agreed to ceasefire with the Lebanese government, it was of course portrayed as if Israel fled with its tail between its legs, and not that Israel was like, I mean, we'll see. There was pressure from the Biden administration, so you can say that Israel maybe did not agree or withdrew completely from its own, what they wanted to and how they wanted to and everything like that, because Israel was exposing its soldiers to more damage than they should have if the Biden administration did not halt the weapon shipment. And because of this halt of weapon shipments, Israeli soldiers were put in much more danger than what they were supposed to be in. So that was also something to take into account. So there is that. And also, I guess I saw somebody talking about and asked that question. I saw that question before, and the question was, okay, if Hezbollah is weaker, did Israel predict that this is something that what we're seeing now in Syria is what's going to happen? And to be honest, it was very predictable. So I'd be disappointed if the different intelligence services weren't aware of the fact that the next thing that's going to happen, since Hezbollah is weaker and Hezbollah was also the force that was defending and protecting the Assad regime in Syria. But even that would be a little bit of an overstatement and an understatement at the same time, because the rumors say, like rumors are like, rumor has it that Assad wanted to keep his ruling as stable as possible, and Hezbollah, being Shiites that were under the IRGC control, their duty was, of course, to wage a war against the enemies of the Shiites, whether it's Sunnis or first and foremost the Jews, the Israelis. And at that point, when there was conflict between the Assad regime, who is, they're Alawites, if they're Muslim or not is a great question, a very mysterious question. I kind of feel like why, it's a big, the thing to understand about the Middle East is that even if you think, okay, now we have like the Shiites are controlling, there are 100 sects of Shiites and Sunnis, and according to Islam, like if there is something that the Quran is that it's unforgiving. It hates hypocrites. It hates, first and foremost, it hates hypocrites, and then you're obligated to fight anyone who doesn't follow Islam. But not only just that you are obligated to fight those who don't follow Islam, you're obligated to fight those who don't follow Islam properly. Amazing. So every person that believes in Islam is obligated to fight every other sect of Islam that doesn't follow their interpretation of Islam. So it's always going to be a mess. And Alawites are like not exactly Muslim. This is why you could see, for example, Assad do things like visit a church, right? Like go and pray in a church, something that I believe a Muslim wouldn't do. And whether or not they're actually Muslim is a big question, because I feel like a little bit maybe like the Druze or things like that, some segments, some cultures try to hide what they actually believe in so that they could claim whatever is needed when it's needed. Per Holstand, they are a mix of Shia and Orthodox Christians that celebrate both religions' holidays except Easter. So the Druze do it too. The Druze also is a branch. They diverged from Shiites, technically, and they also celebrate Christmas and things like that as well. But you don't actually know what they believe in, okay? They keep it kind of secretive. So I guess the Alawites also have this, like what you are describing here is like, I can say the Druze are also under this category, but I have a feeling that it's not the same at all. So, and considering the fact that historically there was, this area was controlled by the Byzantine Empire, which was Orthodox Christian, and then you have this, fights between different Muslim caliphates over this area. I guess like the minorities here will just adopt whatever it takes so that they can do, present themselves the whatever necessary way it is. So what do they believe in? There are 50 million Alawites in Turkey. Cool people. Could be. I don't know. Per Holstein's, exactly, Rivka, they're almost identical to the Druze. They are a bit more modern, however. They are heavily against hijab and drink alcohol. Maybe. From what Okay, and what's interesting about the Assad family, so the way the Alawites took control, Hafez al-Assad, Bashar al-Assad's father, took over the country that is called Syria. So that's a very pretty story, because in Syria, going to the army was beneath you, right? So nobody wanted to join the army. So who joined the army? The cast aside minority group that was called Alawites. And because since they were the majority in the army, they took over the army. They also took over the country at some point. This is what Hafez al-Assad did. So you have a minority that, because they were the only ones in Syria at the time that were willing to serve the Syrian army, took over the country. So just Googled 2,800. That's Kfar Rajal. That's also it's Kfar Rajal, I think. That's a very interesting story as well. So this is a village. The reason they are part of Israel is because they asked to be part of Israel. They actually fell in between the border lines. So they're supposed to be like a Syrian village, but they ended up being written as part of the Lebanese territory. And then in 1967, because they're a minority, they're an Alawites, they asked to stay under Israel so that they would be protected by the Israelis and not butchered by whoever. But I think what they really believe is that they're supposed to be Syrian. So it's a very complex story as well. So anyway, of course, let's see. I'm saying this is interesting. As Ferris saying, yeah, Druze are called chameleon by Lebanese. They switch the dominant faith. Secret Bible is written in 4 colors. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a bit more complex anyway. Like everything in the Middle East, it's a bit more complex. Sick. Why did I do this sick? I knew it's gonna be harder. All right. So you had, I might be open Syria timeline, so I won't confuse myself. I also don't think it that important. The thing is, like every X time you had a regime change in Syria that was done by force, whether it was like the Ba'ath party taking over or the Alawites taking over or whoever taking over. And what happened in the 2010, it was, of course, the combination of, it was a pretty hard times in drought. There was drought. A lot of people in Syria, I'm gonna talk about Syria. I don't wanna, like, obviously there was a whole domino effect in the Middle East. But a lot of the farmers couldn't farm because the lack of water. And because of that, they moved to the city. And this is where, stress built up. And there was this whole eruption against the government that happened in Syria. And then you had the situation that Syria is at now, where Russia came in. You had ISIS, you had the Americans, you had the Kurds, you had Turkey, and they all like split the cake. And for the record, they're all awful, okay? They're all awful. Let me just put in sick. You guys, nobody is coming on Discord. Nobody wants to. You guys don't want to come. I also have a couple of videos and things I kept on X that we can review. Yeah. So sick. I actually, you know, guys, I was supposed to be having a conversation with Yoel Hangs Out today, and I told him I'm sick. Yeah, so it's gonna be on Thursday instead. You guys know him? I'm too shy to talk on Discord. There's nothing to be shy about. It's kind of fun. I mean, I'm just so you know, I'm super shy, like really, but still I'm here with you. Yeah. All right. So I have a couple of maps. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this beautiful. Where is it? Can't I see it? What? Why don't I see it? It's weird. Doesn't show properly. Oof. You guys coming? Okay. Yeah, I need everything. Why am I so slow? I'm sorry I'm being slow. I'm just sick. To be completely honest. I just won't show. Anyway. Alright, cool. You joined me on Discord. If you want to talk, just raise your hand on Discord. I'm gonna add you. All right. Let me just open them up first. You guys, I don't like these. Okay, then you can find something nice here. Okay, open the map. Okay, you guys seeing the map? All right. So this is Syria. And as you can tell, a lot of it is just a lot of it is just desert. Okay. You guys, what are you guys talking about? Anyway, I have so much. Where's the footage? This is Israel. This is Lebanon. There are mountains here. This is Syria. And this is the Aleppo that was taken over. And Hama is where they are currently going towards. So they took over, or they're taking over Hama right now. Rebecca have one citizen. What are you guys talking about? All right. Okay, you guys, let me just 1 second, because I feel like I need to regroup myself. I don't recommend being sick, you guys. This is so much not fun. Can I talk about this? Is how complex this thing is. Oh, I just thinking about people asking about the Kurds. here's the truth. You have a lot of different groups. They're all trying to have a caliphate. Okay, you have Iran that wants to have a Shia caliphate, and they have Hezbollah as their minions. You have Turkey that wants to have a Sunni caliphate, and they use ISIS as their minions now. For some time they weren't affiliated with ISIS, but after some time they were like, hey, they're kind of useful, so they're using ISIS now. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a huge terrorist attack. I mean, I don't know if I should call it terrorist attack because of how an operation that killed 100 people in Iran. And that was and that was like at a funeral. Do you guys remember that? So I wouldn't be surprised, for example, if it was Turkey behind it, okay? Because now you have, for example, Iran is bringing out people from all over the Muslim world that are Shiites to fight in Syria, this holy war. And you have, of course, the Turkish Sunni caliphate dreaming people, but in reality it's like people are using each other. There are also rumors that Assad had contacted Israel to ask to help repel the Sunni ISIS terrorist groups that are attacking, which is another interesting question. What should Israel do? If, to be completely honest, when it comes to Israel, I really think that the right thing to do is to just bomb everyone, everybody that needs to be bombed, but not officially cooperate with anyone, because they're all evil. Like, just for the record, Assad killed a lot of his own citizens. But when it comes to being a fanatic ideologist, then that wouldn't be Assad. And people who are fanatics and ideologists and fanatics, the way they are, they're very dangerous, obviously. So here, let's see what we got here. Okay. Man, 30K subs soon. I wish. I kind of feel like my channel is kind of stuck right now. Like I worked really hard, for example, for the video about what would happen the day after Israel. But I got 10K views for it, so I guess that's not that bad, but still. All right. Yes, need more likes and shares. Did I say that Assad asked Israel for help? Yeah, there are rumors that Assad asked Israel for help to deflect the Sunni rebels that which is not surprising, to be honest, because it's like, hey, I'm not as bad as they are, which is true. What they're committing right now, wherever they take over, just for the record, right, they're not good people, okay? Wherever they take over, they commit awful crimes, those rebels, Sunni rebels. And it's a mixed group. There are a lot of different groups here. So here's the thing. So Turkey is now in a very difficult situation, economical situation, and you have this maniac that is ruling over it, Erdogan, and obviously for them in the north of, by the way, let me know if you can see it. You can see the map properly, right? In the north here, there are, I'm not exactly sure where they are stationed, but I think here in this northern area, there are also gas and oil fields. So that's like easy cash, easy money. And then you have the oil and gas pipes that are going through here. So Turkey wants to take over oil production and things like that, because they also need, there is a combination of Sunni kind of Turkish return of the caliphate, return of the Ottoman Empire kind of mindset, as well as the Erdogan's policies that brought the Turkish economy way down. So there is also this want to take over natural resources, taking over oil fields and gas fields and things like that. And there are also the Kurds that are the enemies of the Turks. They take over a good chunk of like 20%, I think, of the Turkish eastern, like all of the eastern Turkey. A lot of it is Kurdish, and there is like the Kurdish are like this, that's Kurdistan, like this area. I don't know if you can see. Can you see my thing? Yeah, Turkey is huge. That's basically Kurdistan, supposed to be Kurdistan, is all this area. And the Turks are fighting them. So, it makes sense for them to like try to take over as much as they can. I think in the end of the day, they just push themselves into a situation where they are thinking what's the easiest way to make money. And for Turkey, one of the ways that they're making money is because of the places, if the geographical location they're situated at. They're also, it's very easy for them to threaten Europe and ask money from Europe for every refugee they're blocking from coming over to Europe. So that's a good way to make money. Another good way of making money, of course, is taking over the oil fields and gas pipes and things like that, taking over those kind of resources. Basically, they're lazy I don't know, like lazy people that decided to implement a stupid economical policy based on Muhammad school of economy, which is, as you can guess, a very stupid school of economy. So Turkey pushed itself to the point where it's like, and I feel like I said it already, right? So Argentina being here, where I did it too much here. Here's where Argentina is, okay? They had a very stupid economical policy, and now they had to, pull themselves from the shoelaces, and they have a lot of richness, right? They have a lot of rich soil, so they have a lot of natural resources in Argentina, and by the way, Turkey too. And Argentina, though, isn't situated in a place where they can threaten money out of other countries. While Turkey, Turkey has this leeway, right? Of, okay, are we gonna pull whatever Argentina did and be like, and people having to thin themselves a little bit and, suffer and work hard, and or take advantage of Turkey's geographical position and just make sure that they are doing things that would just allow them bring money out of their neighbors. So there are several ways of doing that. One way is expansion, right? You take over. Obviously, when you take over and you are a Sunni Turkish force, you use ISIS. The Shiites are infidels. You take them out, and while you are taking them out, you also take everything they own, and that is a very easy way to get rich. Another thing is that, of course, you see, one of the reasons that Russia panicked when it came to Ukraine, right, is that Turkey and the Crimea, this is an area that they fought for centuries. They fought Turkey. So Turkey, of course, wants to annex this area as well, you know, take over Bulgaria and get to the Caucasus. And that way, this is, Russia is in a very peculiar situation when it comes to natural resources. This is where you have all the natural resources you'd ever want. The only price you have to pay for it is to freeze and to suffer from cold, which shouldn't be taken for granted. Like those areas, part of the reason probably the Russians are the way they are is because they live in a very, very depressing area of Earth. Those areas are flat and cold and dark and would drive anyone crazy. Yeah. And also very hard to defend. So one of the reasons Russia is so big is because if they don't have that extra territory, it's gonna be super easy to go to Moscow and all those places. So like I said about Turkey joining hands with like other Muslims and the Caucasus Muslims, they can take over, in theory, they can take over not only the assets in the Middle East in this area, but this area. Now, when it comes to Muslims, like there is no joke in there, right? When they take over, there is no such thing as surrender. No, they exterminate you. Like they gonna exterminate you. So, so guys. I saw there is a super chat. I want to say thank you for a super chat. It really, really helps me when you guys support me. By the way, you guys, if you want to support my channel, I have Buy Me Coffee, I have Patreon, I have PayPal if you want to support me. It really helps if you want me to keep doing what I'm doing, then please support me. That's the only way I can do it, because it's a lot of work. And yeah, and also share my content. That would also really, really help to take, bypass the shadow banning that, I don't even know if it's shadow banning, but I guess you guys are a niche. So if you guys can support and share my content, that would be really, really helpful. Yeah, Patreon is better than YouTube. Any platform is better than YouTube. My favorite is the Buy Me Coffee, to be honest. Sheikh Yamim, I'm sorry. May Allah grow the Ummah of Rebecca one by one. Amen. Thank you so much for your support. By the way, good news. I have an editor now, so that would really that would mean that I could create more content for you guys. So I'm super excited about it. But I also need your support. So guys, if you can support me in any way you can, it really, really helps. Talking about Georgia, there are huge protests in Georgia. This is also something I touched on before. Georgia, also before it was swallowed by the USSR, it was is in position between Iran and Turkey. So they were under the Persian Empire and under the Ottomans. Like they were Georgia fighting each other. And for a lot of countries, also Bulgaria, by the way, then when they were under the Russians, like they were taken under the USSR, considering the fact that those who controlled those areas before that were the Ottomans, that was an upgrade. So the USSR weren't great at all, but I want to put things in proportion, okay? Compared to being under Muslims and under Islam, that's an upgrade. So yeah, I know, but somebody's saying, by the way, Erdogan is Georgian like Stalin. Yes, he is. Which is kind of crazy to me, because it makes me feel Like he would try to take over Georgia, you know, because he's Georgian. His family is from the Batumi originally. And Stalin's family is from Gori originally, which is here, this area, Gori. This is where Stalin is from. And this is where Batumi, this is where, if I'm not mistaken, Erdogan's family is from. And if you guys want to know where my family is from, I mean, here, Kutaisi. Where is Kutaisi? Here, Kutaisi. That's where my dad's family is from. So, yeah. They're fun. So, yeah, so Erdogan is Georgian, that's true. Anyway, Georgia is also going crazy. They are protesting against the government because I'm sorry, those Georgians who protest, they believe that they can be part of the European Union. But for the record, okay, right, this is where Georgia is. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Stop it, I don't, Sochi, I don't know. Supposed to go to Sochi, but then the war started. Okay, just to visit. So this is where Georgia is. This is where Europe is. You have to go through Turkey from this area. You have to go through other countries from this area. And this is, by the way, there are very high mountains around here. So let me say this pathway is not very comfortable. So that maybe, this way maybe. And Turkey can't even get into European Union. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a long period when Turkey really, really tried to get into the European Union. And they had like a lot of... So Georgia needs to go through a lot of exams to get in the European Union. But I don't know why. What are they thinking? Seriously, like you are in the butt of Russia. Nobody gives an F about you. You have no natural resources. So why do you think the Europeans would want to protect you from Turkey and Russia? They wouldn't. It's good enough that they started fighting like in Syria. This is the next area they're gonna fight in. Like actually not. I'm not sure that's through here because there are mountains here. By the way, the tallest mountain in Europe is not here, which you know, it's not Mont Blanc, it's the Elbaros, and it's around this, where is it, around this area. So let's see, I can find it, I wonder. Anyway, those are mountains, right? Those are really, really high mountains, because when I say like that the tallest mountain in Europe is here, that means those are tall mountains. Now there is a passageway here. How comfortable though. Anyway, so where you go? Oh, okay. There is somebody requesting to speak. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, nobody's talking to me, but then now I see that somebody. So let me invite you. So I won't feel lonely. Did I ever hike? Yes, I did. Yes, actually, I had. I've been there. From both sides. I've been there from the Russian side and from the Georgian side. The Elbrus is like 6 something, I guess. I don't remember. Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Wait. All right. No, I mean, I added someone on Discord, but I cannot hear them. Okay, let me add Joshua as well. Okay, let's go through. So obviously what's happening here is that, and then and then Iran, of course, is not, but that's the funny part, right? Like the rumors that Assad asked Israel to help in return of getting rid of the IRGC. The truth is that Assad and Russia had been having hard time with the IRGC, and the fact that they are acting in a way that was destabilizing the Assad regime. So they wanted them out for some time now. And I guess for them, for when it comes to Russia and Assad, like the ideal situation would be that if they would be able to control the area while kicking Iran out. So just, leaving just Russia and Assad there. Is it optimistic? Maybe. But, What?
Hello.
Hi, hello.
Okay. How is the COVID?
I don't, it's, yeah, you think I have COVID? I don't know if it's COVID.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Uh,
I
I
think
wanted to ask
it's been
about
cold.
Turkey
Yeah, go,
uh,
please.
for two reasons. One, because I ate a lot of turkey last week.
Mm-hmm.
Also because when you said Turkey is kind of trying to create the Ottoman Empire,
Mm-hmm.
I think so. So Turkey is like a NATO ally.
Yeah, they need
Um,
to get kicked out, to be honest.
and I feel a bit bad for them.
Why?
I mean, because they're in a bit of a precarious situation. They're kind of between the Russian-Ukrainian conflict and the
What?
war in.
No, it's the other way around. It's Ukraine is in between Turkey's and Russia war.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's subjective. Yeah.
I mean, you know how when you ask Putin, like, why did they go to war against Ukraine, he gives you like this very, very long historical explanation where the Americans all fall asleep.
Well, he doesn't believe Ukraine is an independent country, which is okay.
Like at least 2 or 3 of those spots that Russia took over were historically Russia and handed over to Ukraine to buy votes during the Soviet era.
Yeah, but the Crimea, they fought
Yeah.
Turkey to get Crimea for centuries, like for a long time. They like the Ottoman.
Ukraine fought.
Russia fought Turkey.
Ah,
Here, let me search it up for you. I'm gonna search it, so here, Ottoman Russia wars. So I want to open. So, okay. Can you see my screen? So, Russo-Turkish wars. I want to skip a little bit. Here.
Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing with this app, so.
Can you see the Crimean Katan is about not the areas marked. Those are the areas like the Ottoman Empire, and you have the orange areas. This is something that Russia fought against Turkey. Okay, so that they would have access to the Black Sea. Europe before the Russo-Turkish wars. See, can you see it? So the Ottoman. So you had the Cherkessia. But by the way, the Cherkessians also suffered under the Ottoman Empire, right? There is a reason we have Cherkessians in Israel. Like they escaped. I'm pretty sure it was. You guys, yeah, I'm sick. I'm sorry. Let me. I don't wanna like adds too much history. I'm like trying to remember who was at fault here. Was it the Russian Empire or the or the Ottoman Empire? That's the reason that we have Cherkessians in Israel. But yeah, I think maybe it was Russia actually, and not. Anyway, so this is before the Russo-Ottoman wars. Okay, so you can see that you had Cherkessia here, but in general they controlled the whole of around the Black Sea, which really meant like that's kind of suffocated Russia.
Yeah, I think
So
perhaps
and Ukraine in Moldova, Ukraine is here. Okay, Ukraine is here. So Ukraine is actually in the middle of Turkey-Russian wars. And why Russia is like freaking out about NATO and things like that is also because Turkey is part of NATO.
yeah. So when Turkey is in Syria and stuff, like the reason they're in like that area is so they can kind of maintain control of the situation, also maintain control like over the Kurds. I don't think they have like I don't think they want to get involved in like Europe just because it's not something they have to like worry about. But things could change, of course, like in Ukraine.
And can you please like be more specific?
So like with the conflict in Syria,
Mm-hmm.
I think Turkey wants to maintain security control over like the groups there. I know there's connections with like Al Qaeda and stuff.
Yeah,
But
Turkey is supporting them
yeah,
technically.
it just seems like Turkey is more concerned about the situation for their own needs, rather than trying to create like a new Ottoman Empire, which
Yeah,
I'm not.
right. Why do you think that? Why do you think Erdogan was shouting about the fact that, like, he wants to get to Jerusalem? Like, he actually said something around this line.
Probably political reasons.
Yeah, I mean, what political reasons? Like, is it ever not political reasons?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that like Turkey is, I know like they're dealing with a lot of like refugees from the area. They don't want like the Kurds like have their own state, so that's why they're giving supplies to um like the rebels in Syria, and also they're taking like intelligence from Ukraine to go against the Russians who are also like in the area. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but like I don't see how Turkey has any excuses to what they're doing. This is not a good country, Turkey, that is. I mean, they had committed several genocides and they had acknowledged none of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So Michael is saying, why can't I see? Here. Erdogan publicly said Jerusalem was Turkish territory. Yeah, something I don't remember. He has those claims once in some time. Anyway, what's happening now is like it's basically those areas are unstable, and that's it, to be honest. And this is what happens when you believe in an ideology like Islam. Like nothing can ever just be relaxed ever. It's complex. What can I say? It's like just the way it is. If you ask me, like what I can say when it comes to Israel, Israel just needs to bomb everybody who's crazy, regardless of their faction, and that's it. Just indiscriminate bomb everybody who is ideologically corrupt, and will probably be, if it will be problematic for them to be in our border area, just bomb them. That's it. Like that's what I like. It has nothing to do like with helping Assad, not helping Assad. Like we shouldn't be helping anyone. We should be like bombing whoever needs to be bombed, and that's it. Like that's my philosophy. That would be. Let's see what's going on. I wonder, like, should I show clips or shouldn't I show clips? I mean, obviously, other things that are happening, for example, are the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah is in danger. I mean, obviously, that had no hope to begin with. So the goal is to take for us, like it would be nice to just have all the Iranian militias out of Syria, but then you need to get also all the Sunni militias out of Syria, and then God knows. It's a very interesting situation. That's the same, to be honest. Like I made the video about what would happen if Israel disappeared. I don't know if you guys watched it. You should. It's a very good video. But it's the same dilemma. You don't even need Israel to disappear to have at least the same dilemma. Just Israel is a stabilizing force in the sense that it could help stabilize the area. And if Israel wouldn't be there, then the situation would be like nothing would stop anyone from doing everything like the worst way possible. But yeah, in his last days, Gaddafi, like those are failed states. That's the truth of it.
This is why I recommend all Israelis move to Alaska. There's Arctic oil, there's logging, there's deep sea fishing, and we get to see the Middle East burn, and that's kind of fun.
I mean, why be so far if we can have a first row seats? Hello? Okay, let's watch some videos, see what people are saying. Okay, no worries. Here. Let me. See what other people are saying about it. The truth is, it's the Middle East. The population, like I said, the population here was never supposed to, like, they were all supposed to kill each other a long time ago. And if it weren't for foreign intervention, that would have happened. It's like every time they try to kill each other to extinction, somebody intervenes and stops them from doing that. Like, what can I say? What can I say? It's like, yes, I mean, the situation in Syria is very simple. Like, very simple. They all have a different mind virus that they're suffering from. And maybe the Alawites are a bit better. I mean, Assad a bit more neutral in a sense, like not as ideologically driven, but still evil. You know, it's not like great humanistic people. All right, let's go through a couple of videos. Different videos. See if we can react a little bit. I have some clips from the Christian Prince. U.S. troops fighting in Syria. Let's go through a little bit of that. It's fun to see different takes. The truth stays the same the same thing, right? It's craziness all over. I kind of feel like, you know, the only thing to do is to make sure that whatever craziness is happening there doesn't get to your area. Maybe conquer a designated area for refugees, have schools there, connect them to the internet, and those who can work via the internet can start a new kind of state there. Like start from scratch, you know, just maybe like close up an area, say you're starting from scratch, and that's it. But who would volunteer to be there? I don't know. So this is from the Christian Prince. Kurdish genocide by Turkish supporters, terrorist groups. I kind of feel like it's gonna get demonetized if I show it, but let me try.
Hello, everybody. Just to give you some update about the war in Syria, some of you asking me to do so. I just heard today that the terrorists of Erdogan specifically, they attack this area here, which is a Kurdish territory. It's called Tel Rafat, as you see on the screen. And I saw in the news too, but I could not see the video yet. They are saying that they were able to control it, and they capture a lot of Kurdish, and they were torturing them, and they were calling them the Kurdish pigs.
By the way, I also saw videos of them taking sabayas, like sex slaves.
I heard that from the news, from the Human Rights Center, which is a Syrian, the guy who owned it, or let's say, he's not Kurdish, so there's no way he was going to say that, and he is not a Kurdish, unless it's true.
Mm.
So they are calling them the Kurdish pigs. They were beating the hell of them. You know, it's a torture, obviously. So he was warning that looked like Turkey is planning to do genocide on the Turkish. And, you know, as usual, that the Turkey will not say it's us who is doing that. So they will send those Arab terrorists, and they will say, you see, I mean, why you are blaming us? Those are Syrian, and they are the one who did that. We did not tell them to do that. So this way, you know, Turkey will stay far from being accused of anything, and they can commit their crime as usual. You know, like we know how they deny even they're doing anything wrong to Armenia. And, you know, the one who did it, always the Turkish, they do the same. They never stop their genocide, and at the end of the day, they claim that they did nothing. The terrorists, they were able to go all the way to the area of Hama.
Yeah.
This is the city of Hama, and there is like many contradiction news about what's going on there. There is some videos saying they were entering the city, but look like maybe not true yet. So we will confirm later how that is going. But we can confirm that the Syrian army is all over this area here, in this area here, and they are preparing to do an attack to go all the way to Aleppo. Now, in case you do not know where is Aleppo in the map, we will zoom out and let us see, do this. So this is Hama. Here is the city of Aleppo. If we draw a line, you know, now you can see it better. So this is the city of Aleppo from here to Hama. So the terrorists, they were able, those are Al-Qaeda. You know, the funny is, if you open the news, even Fox News, you know, even every scumbag, This is why I say to you, never trust any Western media. They love to lie. All of them, they call them the Syrian rebels, when everybody knows that those are Al-Qaeda. In fact, their leader, USA, have $10 million for his head. And yet they say they're the rebels. And this guy, the first job he did when he became a leader, he says we are the followers of our hero leader Osama bin Laden, and he announced that he is Al-Qaeda. And later they changed the name because they are being smart. Like, you know, like Turkish, Erdogan, he changed the name of his party, the Party of Justice, but this is the Muslim Brotherhood Party. So they changed names, but the fact, all of them, everybody knows that they are Al-Qaeda. Going back to the map here. So the terrorists, they move first from here to Aleppo, and then they are spreading. Now, for sure here, this area still is far from their control. This area is a mountain area, and there's a lot of Alawi and Shia and Christians. And it's impossible. There's no way anyone, I mean, even the Turkish army cannot take it, because the nature of the area is...
Yeah, by the way, notice how Alawites, Druze, Christians, all living in mountainous areas, in areas that are a little bit harder to conquer. And in general, they are not as attractive as well, because, for example, like, it's harder to grow crops on mountainous areas.
You know, it's like a hill. If you want to go to fight people who they are in the mountains, good luck. You know, it doesn't matter how big your army, and you can use drones, you can use anything, but in the ground you cannot. As long as you not go in the ground, you cannot do anything. So for sure, if you want to be like, use a massive power like a nuke, yeah, then you can kill everybody. But who dare to use that? So now what's happening, that the Syrian regime, they are preparing to launch a big attack on those terrorists. Now, you know, the Syrian regime is a dictator regime. We cannot say it's a good regime. However, we cannot compare between the Assad and those terrorists. It doesn't matter what they say to you. You know, yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Another, by the way, I'm kind of curious about. So I am talking to somebody I want to bring some Druze people over, because I know the Druze in Syria were under threat of getting annihilated several times, and I'm kind of curious whether it was also from Assad force or not. I kind of feel like it's also from the Assad force, but I don't want to confuse you guys or myself. So
Yes, he support his.
I also want to say something as we're taking a break. Is that... Oh, Perry's saying, I have info on this I can share. Please do. Can you join the Discord? And I'll let you on. So, do you want me to share the invite again? Here. Just come on Discord and please help tell us here. I will bring more people. Like, I'm in touch with people curious about what's going on there. But to be completely honest, it's kind of a situation where there isn't much hope. There are natural resources all over Syria and different, obviously, Turkey, Russia, United States have interests in those kind of areas. But in general, I don't know. It's more of a philosophical question. It's like, how do we start over those kind of places? Anyway, I wanna share, by the way, Carlos Rodriguez here. Thank you so much for your support. He just bought 4 coffees on Buy Me Coffee. So he previously suggested that instead of super chat, you guys can, as I am live, sent like messages via Buy Me Coffee instead, and so I can share it with you guys. So thank you so much, El Carlos. It's a great idea. So if you guys want to do it, I just print screened it, like, you know, print screened it right now, and that's it, like super easy. So thank you so much, Carlos, for your support. So if you want to do it, and what? Am I better? Am I not better, people? Yeah, I'm still sick, but Mansour Eshkali's Druze would be great. Yes, I'm talking to Mansour. I want to bring him over. And there is another guy his name is Khalifa, which I kind of want to find how to contact him, because I really like the way he describes all the things like that are going on there. He's Druze. He has Druze contacts in Lebanon and Syria. In Lebanon, he says, for example, that the Druze are also problematic because a lot of them are communists. So communism took over the Druze in Lebanon. In Syria, I'm not sure, but they've been able to defend themselves because of some mysterious source of weapons that somebody was willing to give them weaponry. A very generous, mysterious fountain that is giving them weapons. Who are those mysterious people? We don't know. But yeah. Anyway. Dr. Wafal Sultan is the most amazing person ever. Yes, she's an ex-Muslim and she's Alawite. I think she's Alawite. Ex-Alawite, ex-Muslim. All right.
Hezbollah, yes, etc. But in fact, the Syria, not long time ago, they used to be at war with Hezbollah. It is a stupid American and the stupid George Bush and the rest of the stupid. They forced this guy because they...
I love Christian Prince so much. Stupid America, stupid Bush. Like, I will not forget. Like, why did you have Islam is the religion of peace?
They wanted him to surrender, to be in his knee, just because he opposed running a pipeline all the way from Qatar, from the filthy Qatar. You go back. This is the filthy Qatar, small tiny island, is big problem for the whole world, you know.
And I'm pretty sure, okay, so Qatar, it's interesting. So officially, like, you know, they are perpetuating IRGC propaganda, but at the core, they are part of the Muslim Brotherhood system, right? So the Muslim Brotherhood is Hamas, and Erdogan is also the Muslim Brotherhood. And of course, what's his name is no longer there, but Morsi. You know, Morsi, who was a president in Egypt for some time, that he was representing the Muslim Brotherhood. And Qatar and their, you know, famous or infamous news channel, Al Jazeera, originally were part of the the Muslim Brotherhood propaganda machine. At some point, they started cooperating with Iran when Qatar was in a dilemma, right? So they're pretty close to Iran. This is Iran. And because of that, they were like, okay, they were in a crossroad. Who are we going to get protection from, the West or Iran? And it was during a time when the Americans pressured Israel to withdraw from certain fighting, and Qatar was like, okay, those Americans are impotent, we're going to cooperate with Iran. But originally, there are the spokespeople of the Muslim Brotherhood, not the Shiites, the Sunnis. So now the Qataris are like, who are they going to represent? Are they going to represent the Shiites they've been cooperating with, aka Iran, or are they going to go against Iran and back to their origins, that is the Muslim Brotherhood? I don't know, curious.
You see Qatar? So they want to run a pipeline from Qatar through Syria to Europe, through Turkey. And Turkey will get the best benefit of it because they will make a lot of money and they can control the oil going to Europe and gas because, European now, they cannot survive without Turkey. So anytime.
Yeah, so one thing that the Ottoman Empire did is, of course, they cut off and they were controlling the passage, the Silk Road, right? From China to Europe, and Europe was dependent on that, but it's not there anymore. And it's fun. I made the video about everything that's going on if Israel would disappear. But it's happening anyway. Everything I'm talking about in this video, where I'm saying what if Israel wasn't there, everything I mention is kind of happening anyway. It just, if Israel wouldn't be there, it would just be real fast, real bad, real fast. Yeah.
The Turkish, they can cut the pipeline and they can say, hey, we will stop the faucet. We control Qatar. Turkey have a big base of army in Qatar because in the time of Trump, Saudi Arabia was going to invade Qatar, but the stupid Trump, as usual, he stopped Saudi Arabia and even he warned them, if they do so, the American forces will attack them. In fact, it's Trump who forced them to take the sanctions against Qatar. So going back to that topic, the Syrian regime, or the Assad, he refused to allow this pipeline to go through, through his country. So the war started. That's the whole reason for the war. If he agree, everything will be fine, and then, they start surrounding him by sanctions. As soon as the war started, Obama, he sent more than $600 million for Al-Qaeda. They called them rebel, remember. And Turkey is the biggest helper. And Turkey want to steal the oil of Syria, the phosphate of Syria, the uranium of Syria, you name it. So, they surrender this guy.
I want uranium. I don't know if you guys would want it. Okay, so in my video that I've made, I added so many jokes that I don't know if anybody watched my video that I made about Israel disappearing closely enough to see them. Are you open to going through this video just for me to be able to share the jokes that I've made? Because one of them was like I said that uranium is every girl's dream, so just that's a reference here.
From all direction, and put sanctions to the point almost they starve Syria. This guy, he found himself, he have no friends. Who is the only friend want to help? Hezbollah, Iran, Hezbollah, Lebanon. There's nobody left. Or Yemen, the Shia. He is a Alawi, they are Shia, perfecto. So it was the only way for him to survive, not because he is in love with them. Alawi are not Shia, but let us say they are close as a sect, but they are very, very unreligious. They drink vodka more than they drink water. They make fun of Muhammad. They make fun of the Quran. There's tons of videos of them making fun of how Muslim they pray. So we can't even call them Muslims. Women in Syria, they can go, they can work, they can be in the police, they can be in the army. You want to have your party, you want to drink. It's like any moderate country. What the American wanted to do, to replace the Syrian Assad regime by a bunch of terrorists. Now, is that going to help Israel? Maybe Israeli, they think yes, but in the wrong run, big mistake, because then Al-Qaeda will be in their borders, and Allahu Akbar will start again. So you get rid. It's like, somebody, he brought an insect, because this insect kill other insect, and then the other insect make infestation and took over, and then we want to bring another insect to kill the previous insect, etc. So Bringing Al-Qaeda to your borders is not for the benefit of anybody. And this is why all the Arab leaders now, all of them, imagine, they call the Assad, like from Egypt, he received calls from Egypt. We cannot call Libya because Libya does not even exist as a country now. From Saudi Arabia, from Iraq, from Emirat, and for sure Iran, but Iran is not an Arab anyway, and the rest like Yemen, Oman, etc. All of them, they are supporting the president of Syria. Imagine. And the reason they are supporting him not because they are in love with him, but because if Al-Qaeda, they establish a state there, this is the caliphate state, then they will be next, not because they love anything to do with the Syrian regime or even Syrian people, but because simply they are in fear of what will happen next. So going back to what's happening now in Syria, the regime forces, they are preparing themselves to go and attack. And I'm expecting actually, what those terrorists, they made a big mistake, I believe. They think by taking cities, like this is the best way to do things. I believe this is a big mistake. The reason for that, because the more cities you take, the less ability you have to control. Because, I took a city like Aleppo, here. Okay. But that means I have to leave at least, 5,000 soldiers. Okay. I take the city here, control the city. I have to leave a few wherever. Already they are existing in Idlib from before, but now they have full control. They took other territory, all this area here. That means you have to fill it up with soldiers. So the more area you take, and they are expanding, the more area you take, the more soldiers you need. And they don't have such a capability, So that will be a big weakness in their side. And then the Assad regime is going to receive a lot of support from Iraq, from the Shia.
Basically, the question is kind of, if you bring it the IRGC the way Assad did, right? Like Iran took over, like they took this opportunity to take over Syria, and fight against their Sunnah that they hate so much. And that way they had like a corridor, right? They had, so if we look at the map here, where's the map? Here's the map. If we look at the map here, so here is Iran. Iran took over Iraq, not the north. And the north is Kurdistan, but they're bombing. By the way, they're bombing those areas all the time. They're bombing the northern Iraq, which is Kurdistan now. Like Iran is bombing those areas all the time. They took over. Now because of the situation that happened with the Alawites, that are a minority in their country, that was an opportunity for Iran to have a corridor in Syria. And via Syria, right? So the north, they did control like up to Halab, but in theory, like they need Damascus just to have that Lebanon, and then they have an opening to the sea. Via that opening to the sea, they can use ships and bring whatever they need into Europe as well. Like their reach is getting better. And obviously they had this pathway, so they opened this pathway to the Mediterranean Sea here, and gave them an access to Europe, and obviously access to attack Israel and stuff like that are ideological. So they took advantage of what was going on, obviously in Syria, and was like, okay, we're gonna use Hezbollah to protect the forces in Syria, in the regime in Syria, and then they had this uninterrupted corridor. Except when October 7th happened and everything like that, the involvement of the Hezbollah the Hezbollah, that they ran away from Lebanon, they ran away into Damascus, and they started being very pushy when it came to Assad and Russians, and then that put the Russians and Assad in a problematic situation where those crazy Shiites are gonna drag them down into their crazy ideological fight against Israel and the West, and that would bring Assad down. And they were like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? But on the other hand, it was very comfortable that they could use them like as ground soldiers, obviously. But Israel doesn't like the IRGC being here, that's for sure. And the other option of Turkey, who also went crazy. So of course, you have the Iranians like bombing the Kurdish. You have Turkish, the Turks also bombing the Kurds. Of course, obviously everybody is bombing the Turks. And so that's the other option. And in theory, right, Turkey tried to be like a normal secular country, and it was growing and the economy was doing great. The problem is that, like you treat Islam, you take it out, but after some time it takes over again when people forget why they took it out from to begin with. And he collapsed the Turkish economy. I don't know, because he's Georgian, he hates Turkey. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe Erdogan was like, fuck the Turkish people, I'm Georgian, I want to F them up and let me ruin your economy completely. Once you ruin the economy, you have to, and you're like, oh, we go by Islam and the greatness of Sunnah, you're obligated to go to war against Iran. But the problem with Turkey going crazy is that suddenly, like, Russia is having flashbacks to very bad times. So you have Russia, Russia coming in. To be honest, like, I kind of think, okay, so when it came to Crimea, I don't feel like Russia had any choice but to do that. But Russia is so conservative, like they do really bad job when it comes to management. Anyway, but compared to Muslims, like they're, even Assad, like he used chemical weapons against his own people, but compared to Shiites and Sunnis, crazy people. Yes, I'm Ronek. You just make it complicated for no reason. This is just a Game of Thrones for the Muslim Caliphate, and Syria is just a playground for Turkey and Iran IRGC. Yes, true. But there is also Russia there and the Americans. Because, I don't want to make it complicated, it's a playground. Ideally, we want to wish good luck to all sides, right? May the Shiite crazes eliminate the Sunni crazes. But when, but there are like pipelines and things like going through this area, it's a question who should take over, right? What kind of crazy should take over here? I don't know. Maybe just like, just have private companies be like, hey guys, so it's in our interest to have this and this like being protected for resources because we need them, and we just hire private companies and you just protect those areas and those who live in this area, like well, sucks to be you. I don't know.
And they will come by tens of thousands for sure. So arriving to the city of Hama will not really do much benefit for them. In fact, it can do the opposite because, as I said, they have more.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for support, by the way, Zikos. Yeah, Democrats will release all Mad Dogs before leaving for sure. Like, they'd be like, make sure that the moment Trump steps in, everything will be like crumbling to a point where it's gonna be hard. It's amazing, like when you are so hateful, bitter, and pathetic that you would ruin the world with no consciousness and without caring, just so that you can screw over the next elected president because you don't like him.
More liability and more weakness, so they will lose. Like when the war start, their weakness will appear. Right now, a chaos happening. People that are in fear, they run away from their way. No, there's no real fight happen. But as soon the other enemy, they prepare the regime, they prepare themselves. Those people they will start scattering around. Especially if the international community, they are not in favor, especially the Arab, they are not in favor of those people to be winners, you know. So I will try to update you from time to time.
That's just Rebecca. What is Saudi interested in all this? Okay, so when it comes to Saudi, it's the split personality syndrome of the Middle East. So Saudi has two minds, right? One mind is like, we want to have a normal country and be prosperous and rich. And another mind where it's like, but we're Muslim. The Muslim thing is like, it's very hard to get over, like to manage, right? To make you normal. So when it comes to Saudi, first of all, they have Mecca. Iran wants Mecca. Turkey, by the way, the Saudis had been, on Saudi TV, I saw like them talking about, okay, Israel, in a sense that if Israel exists, at least that would help us against Iran and Turkey. So they mentioned Turkey like years ago. They were like, they see the trend. So by the way, Egypt too, like depends on the day they wake up on. Egypt is not amazing. So the Saudis, they have Mecca, which means that all those Caliphate people are gonna want to take over. They also have oil, so they want those ways to sell the oil open. But somebody is asking me if I'm so Saudi is in a sense like, but they love their good life, right? They're like, they have the same situation like in Syria, you know, like the Alawites took over because only the Alawites would go to the army. In Saudi and those countries are like a little bit of the same, right? They don't want to fight, not really. Like they want others to do the fighting. They want to spend money and go live luxurious lives. So Saudi wants someone else. I think, right, like the way they are, like they kind of want it, they want it not to reach them. But they don't want to get involved too much. Just want to have money and be rich. But they're still Muslims, so God knows, like, you know, they might go crazy. It's an interesting question. Somebody asked me, why do I hate Ukraine? Why are you against Ukraine? I'm not against Ukraine. I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care about, like, Russia either. Like, you know, like, I understand the Russian mindset. I'm not against Ukraine, but I think Ukraine, it's kind of like Georgia right now, right? I'm not against Georgia, but they're being stupid. Ukraine was also being stupid, right? Like they sold their country to the West. Like they were bribed by the West. But the West doesn't give an F about them, right? Like, so now they're screwed. I don't hate them. I feel like they were playing their cards wrong. I'm not against them. There is reality. Like the same with Georgia. It's like, cool, you have those dreams to be part of the European Union. I don't hate Georgia, right, at all, but still, like, nobody, like, it's unrealistic. You might as well have the protection of Russia instead of like this bird that you would never catch, that is the United Nations, the EU, that would never protect you against enemies that are way scarier, like Iran and Turkey. Like, at least, like, be happy that if you want to be, like, really independent, just start protecting your country properly, like, go to the army, like, do whatever needs to be done, like, be patriotic, work, like, improve your economical disposition, like, work hard, things like that. Like, but those countries don't want to work hard. They just want easy. They want easy. All right, let's see. U.S. troops fighting in Syria. Let's see what's the report here saying. Yes. It's 27 minutes, so I'm gonna skip it a bit.
You can hear me. All right. I don't know why it said it was unmuted, but I guess it was muted. Okay, we got you. All right. Take 3. Hello, everybody. Chuck Holton here. Thank you for watching the Hot Zone. We've got a special kind of edition of the Hot Zone because we've got some breaking news out of Syria, and I wanted to talk about it, so I'm going live a little earlier than usual. You've probably heard there's been quite a bit of fighting in Syria over the last few days because there are anti-regime rebels that are trying to topple the government of Syria under the president Bashar al-Assad. Now, because of that, the only problem with that, it wouldn't be a bad thing to take care of Bashar al-Assad. Hello, dear.
I'm gonna skip ahead.
Wait, you're not seeing that map, really?
Here. I want to see.
Controlled by the Syrian government. The areas in yellow up here in the northeastern section of Syria are what they call Rojava. And Rojava is controlled by the Serbs, right? And that, area has been controlled by the Serbs since the fight against ISIS. And the United States is backing the Kurds there. Then the part in blue is where it says Tel Abyad and Afrin. Those are areas that are controlled by the Turkish aligned forces. They call it Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or Free Syrian Army over there. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham owns the green areas near Idlib, and now down here in the south, these other rebel forces that are pushing this green area from the Iraqi-Jordanian border. Okay, so you can see how complicated this is. And
did they write Lebanon as Israel here in this map? I mean, I don't hate the thinking. I'm trying to decide if it makes it less creditable or more creditable. If they write Israel on Lebanon, is it like foresight? Or just they don't know what they're doing? I'm curious.
Right here in Deir ez-Zor is where I want to focus for the moment. Deir ez-Zor is the place where the United States has troops currently stationed, about 900 troops as of last count. And these guys are mostly Army Rangers from my unit, the unit that I used to belong to 100 years ago. And what they're doing there is protecting the Kurdish forces, helping the Kurdish forces out, and they are keeping a lid on ISIS because ISIS is still in the area. Actually, these black areas here, I believe, are ISIS-controlled areas. And so the United States has a base in Deir ez-Zor, right in the border of the yellow region there. And they are striking at ISIS whenever they can find them. That's what they've been doing for years. Just they've had a constant deployment going there for a long time. And then what we are hearing today is that now it's I'm looking, we've got 52 people waiting over there. Can Connie, can you go over to the other live that
Okay. What I'm just too much background. I love junk here. I literally like collected different geopolitical analysts to share with you guys because it's interesting to me just to see it from different angles. The reality is the same. I wonder, like, I kind of wish you guys, okay, whoever wants to share with me how they think failed countries should be handled, right? Countries that are located and that have failed, like, how should we handle them? Like, do you guys, if you guys have a vision, right? Have a vision about how to go forward now that Trump is gonna go into power and things like that. Like, what should be the way we go about this?
It
Like,
depends on how it affects America.
Oh, that's a good one. First of all, like, I don't want to talk about like specific countries who's gonna do what. You know, even if let's say like private companies would do that or something like that, you know, take over. The question is like, is it good? Is it a good like economical model there? America is struggling right now because it's doing too much on the micro level. I think like too much hands-on control, and it's getting very expensive. So I don't know if America should do it, but in theory, like, it doesn't have to be America, just in general. Let me see. I can share the screen here. Hello?
Who, me?
I mean, you started talking, so why not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it depends on how the country affects America. For instance, Venezuela went to crap and nobody cares. If Saudi takes a dive, I'd need to know how that would affect, for instance, the price of oil or trade routes, stuff like that. If it doesn't really affect us, then if it screws over Europe, good. But if it makes me pay more money for diesel, then
if it screws over Europe, I mean, yeah, they're the first in line to get screwed over for sure.
Yeah, because I assumed America is so involved in the Middle East because that's where they get their oil from.
But America doesn't have to get their oil from the Middle East. It's the weird choice that they made.
Oh, did I say that? Sorry, Europe. Europe gets their oil from the Middle East, and that's why we care. But I don't like Europe. So
why don't you like Europe?
Let's see. Their constant trade war against us. They don't let us send over any of our crops because GMOs. If their stuff, all of a sudden, it's a war crime.
I see.
This is why I look forward to Trump's trade war. We get to reorganize crap.
Yeah, yes. And then my favorite thing is like that, finally, like, they would force Europe to pay for.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that the Syrian conflict popped off because Europe, the EU, was going to have a oil pipeline built from like Qatar all the way up to Germany or something like that, and Syria was one of the countries in between. And since their oil was not being drilled, that the conflict popped off. Russia called them and said, "Hey, why aren't they drilling your stuff?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we fed a lot of our boys into meat grinders out there, and I don't actually care that much. Here's another fun thing. NATO, 21 of the 31 countries of NATO do not pay the bare minimum 2% of their GDP to be members.
Mm-hmm.
So America, France, England, Germany, Poland, an elite handful of others pay the overwhelming majority of that, and all these 21 others still have to still receive way more than they pay in. And yeah, screw them.
Is it? No.
Yeah. Costs us too much money. I want out. Maybe with a Republican majority Congress, we could quit. We could actually leave NATO. Maybe.
Anyway.
But yeah, I've also heard another guy talk about if America stops funding and arming the Ukrainians, then the Chinese will know that they can just take Taiwan. And Taiwan makes all of our microchips, so we need those.
I mean, I don't know if they would, because it's not that simple. But if America stops, like, I don't know why America would care, like, just to do good business, or to be honest, like, I don't know, when it comes to Ukraine, I have my opinions there. It's weird. Like, the conversation about it needs to be include more Ukrainians about what they want, to be honest.
Yeah. They have good reason to hate Russia. I get it. I'm half Polish. I still hate Russians. So I get it.
Okay, let me see what he's saying here. Okay. Syria
Said
civil
Russia,
war.
Iran, and Hezbollah in problems of their own. 500,000 Syrians have already died in the civil war thus far. 500,000. With massive airstrikes over the last 24-48 hours on Idlib and Aleppo. In fact, a Russian aircraft, probably a Su-27, has been shot down over Aleppo. And a counterattack by the Syrian army has been launched. So Aleppo has gone, and the rest of the country largely under control of Assad. But relations between Turkey and Syria have been pretty bad. Rebel factions backed by Turkey, another dramatic player in this whole business, were concentrated in northwest Syria. So northeast Syria, generally the HTS backed by the Americans, and rebel factions backed by Turkey concentrated in northwest Syria.
They really worked hard on the production
So
here.
viewers, friends, namaskar. To the accompaniment of the ceasefire in Lebanon, we now have news of a major escalation in neighboring Syria. So truce in one part of West Asia and the eruption of war in another. Well, it took the better part of 4 years for President Bashar al-Assad's government forces to retake the second largest city of Aleppo in Syria from 2012 to 2016 through many bloody battles. And it took them less than 4 days to lose the city. 4 years to retake, 4 days to lose.
Losers. This is fun.
That is how
Okay.
dramatic the fall of Aleppo has been, and that's why it's in the news globally. The HTS, the Hariyat Tahrir al-Sham, Hariyat Tahrir al-Sham, a brutal ideologically driven outfit, some say Al-Qaeda repackaged, launched an assault on the city of Aleppo on 29th November 24.
I want to ask a question here. I see super creep case, a bit like, you know, being idiotic, but whatever. The good thing about Zionism falling is that Hindutva in India also takes a hit. Okay, sweetheart. What is in your sick mind, right? Like, who do you support? You want ISIS to take over? You want the Shiites to take over? Like, what's your delusion? Like, what is your ideology? Do you believe in, like, what? Communism? Like, what? What do you believe in? What's your delusion, man? Like, what kind of sick ideology do you believe in that would be better? Because just say what you believe in, like, not what you don't believe in, say what you believe in, and that will know that you are a effing loser, because you probably are. Just at some point, just say, who do you believe in? Like, do you believe in a worldwide caliphate? Do you believe in communism? What do you believe in your delusion of mind? Do you think the European Union should take over the whole world? Like what? What? What do you believe in? Loser, what do you believe in? You don't believe in anything, do you? The only thing you believe in is being like, you know, you're the ghosts in your mind. It's like, like what? What, sweetheart? What do you believe in? What do you think would be better for you? In Palestine? What? Which one? Which sect of Palestine do you believe in? Do you live Hamas? Or do you live in the Palestinian Authority like in Abbas and the PLO? Who do you believe in? Who do you believe in, you idiot? Like, what do you think? You're against something. What do you think? Like, there's the Syrian rebels were against this Assad. Like, what? What is the other option for them? Like, what? What was the other option for them? Like, no super cure. Like, answer the question. What is the other option? Assad was awful, a dictator. What's the other option? Do you want to be Kurdistan? Do you think Syria should be Kurdistan under the Kurds? Who's gonna run it? Who? I believe in the people of Palestine. Well, the people of Palestine don't believe in the people of Palestine. Look what Hamas did to the PLO. Like, what are you talking about? Do you know what the people of Palestine are? Like, name affection. Name one. Who in Palestine do you believe in? The people of Palestine. Who? Sinwar is dead. Did you believe in Sinwar? Sinwar was a psychopath who believed in killing his own people for fun. Who do you believe in, you delusional fuck? I believe in. F that, you don't believe in anything. Like, why do we need to, like, you know, like, we're against that, we're against this. No, F that. And you know what I believe in? Like, seriously? Like, the Middle East, like, the Islam. Just kill each other. Just, you know what? Let's not interfere anywhere. Let's just, it's too bad now, yeah, the Christians, the Druze, yeah, it's bad. They're like, shame. Very, very not fun. But why? Who's responsible for your lives? Nobody is. Like in Palestine. What is the Palestinians? The Palestinians would slaughter each other. And they should be allowed to be honest.
I'm told with 15,000, 20,000 troops, a tank brigade, and FPV drones, this first-person view drones, which are the current rage in war fighting. And within 4 days, the rebel forces were in the city's citadel, in the heart of the city of Aleppo. So it has indeed been a rout, with the Syrian army staging.
Do you know why you have those situations in Syria and everywhere? It's like because every faction is awful. Like, except for maybe the Kurds, who are very like they believe in what like they fight to the end. Like all of those fighters, like the first thing they do is like if they see something that is threatening, like they run away, like because they don't believe in the crap they're fighting for.
An embarrassing retreat. The frozen civil war in Syria has reignited. Syria had been quite quiet for a while. In fact, by June 2020, the challenges to the government forces under President Bashar al-Assad had largely subsided, with rebel forces retreating to the northwest corner of Syria in Idlib. Now, Idlib is also where refugees displaced from other regions of Syria, opponents of the president, had concentrated, living in a lot of squalor and misery. So Idlib has become this gathering of refugees, opponents of Assad, and of course rebel forces in northeast Syria. Rebel factions backed by Turkey, another dramatic player in this whole business, were concentrated in northwest Syria. So northeast Syria, generally the HTS backed by the Americans, and rebel factions backed by Turkey concentrated in northwest Syria. Now, under the Astana Agreement, Russia, Turkey, Iran, and Syria, the key stakeholders in this whole business, had agreed to freeze these positions, northeast, northwest, and the rest of the country largely under control of Assad. Now, and this is what happened on the 29th November, the Astana Agreement was breached. When using Idlib as a firm base, beginning 29th November, 28, 29, the whereabouts, the HTS, the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a coalition of Sunni Islamist insurgent groups that evolved from the Jabhat al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda's former branch in Syria, which has now been rebranded by its leader. The leader of HTS is Muhammad al-Julani, who has now broken ties with Al-Qaeda formally. And the HTS is backed greatly by Turkey. So President Erdogan of Turkey has a big hand in the offensive. And together, all these forces have mounted another challenge to the Assad dynasty, which, as you all know, has been in power now for over 53 years. Bashar al-Assad and his father, 53 years.
Hafs al-Assad. This is boring, man. It's a lot of...
Airport and the major highways, meaning now Russia, because of its involvement in Ukraine, has pulled back air power. Its aircraft from the airbase in Khmeimim, I mean a substantial number, though some do remain in Khmeimim to carry out these airstrikes. Russia has pulled out its leadership, its generals. I mean, because now they have a full-fledged war in Ukraine. Even Russian troops that had played a key role in earlier versions of the civil war and in backing President Bashar al-Assad. The Wagner group elements, you will remember, because of what happened to the boss of Wagner, also were no longer available, at least in those numbers. And I'm told Major General Sergei Kissel, the top commander of the Russian forces in Syria,
he was fired. Yeah.
Has been relieved of command just yesterday.
I mean, relieved, I guess that's a nicer way to say got fired.
Yesterday, after the fiasco being the fall of Aleppo. Iran too was consumed, as we all know, by its own problems with Israel. IRGC leadership in Syria was targeted heavily by the Israelis. In fact, in the Aleppo offensive, I'm told, one Iranian general has lost his life. Now, the IRGC leadership was taken out by the Israeli airstrikes. So Russia distracted, Iran consumed.
I love, all those people who love old balding men, or I don't know what they have in mind when you think about like geopolitical analyst. You know, all those people who said smart things like Islam is love, Islam is life, and people who are like October 7th could never happen kind of people because Hamas is like they're afraid of like all like it's like you have to be like a professor at a university to do geopolitics, but then when you go to professors in universities who do geopolitics, their predictions are like minus 10 out of 10 in their accuracy. Like, it's not that they're not accurate, it's that they predict the exact opposite of what's gonna happen. So here's the thing with geopolitics, okay? You're letting me like, it's a whole world, it's a whole thing. You study, like I studied it the whole of my life. So, and then people are like, oh, Palestine, like I believe in Palestinian people, like those who throw people out of rooftops, like those the people who believe in, like there are so many videos of Hamas shooting civilians for trying to get their hands on the aid that is given to them from the international community. And like, so what's so great about those geopolitical analysts who have are so out of touch of reality, like that what's the point? Like, what's the point? I would say like what do you expect? Like, you can watch my videos, see if they align with reality or not, and then judge for yourself if you like my geopolitical analysts or not, like analytics or not, you know? Like,
consumed by its own problems, and the last ally, Hezbollah, of course, has been seriously mauled by Israeli strikes on its leadership. Nasrallah, who was such a charismatic figure in organizing not only the Hezbollah in Lebanon against Israel, but also in the wider Arab world, he's no longer there on the scene. 16 Hamas leaders of great consequence have been taken out, as also 4,000 Hezbollah war fighters. So, and Israel has targeted with great precision and consistency the critical crossings across the Lebanese-Syrian border, which, enabled troops and logistics and other wherewithal to flow between the Lebanese and Syrian border. The attack, now because of all these reasons, of course, Bashar al-Assad was weakened, and the HTS, backed by Turkey, chose an opportune moment to launch the attack on Aleppo. The attack is also being viewed as a move by Israel and Turkey in concert. Now, they are strange bedfellows, but
like that's I love, like it has anything to do with Israel. The only thing it has to do with Israel is the fact that Israel made Hezbollah weak enough, especially, like physically, and also in the sense of that they were such a prestigious, strong terrorist group, and the way they got beep 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 beep, it kind of their image took a hit. So suddenly people were around and were like, maybe we can attack them, and because they're weak, they were just pretending, like Iran is just pretending to be a tiger, but it's just a paper tiger. So Turkey was looking at that and is like, and then it took an opportunity to take over. Has nothing to do with Israel. It has something to do with Israel making Hezbollah weaker. That's true. Now Israel needs to make sure that the Sunnis are also weak. Ideally, like they should fight each other, but only using sticks and stones, There is a minimum where the situation is like where there's gonna be minimal explosions that can catch others or people other around them, because it's stick and stones, but they are like 100% effective, as in like if you go one by one and like one-on-one, and then it's like they cancel each other out, like matter and antimatter. Sticks and stones are This is the way they should be fighting. It's gonna be hard with Turkey. They're being so close by, and they can give them weapons without any limitations, to be honest. But ideally speaking, like make sure, yeah, the Turkey is an issue. It's a real issue, right? And there's also like the question of the legitimacy of making sure that weapons that are being sent by Turkey are not going to reach their destination. It's something that the world should be like, yeah, it's time to bomb Turkey, and they're part of NATO, so suddenly it's a bit more complicated. Kick them out of NATO. But ideally, to create a situation where they are all fighting using sticks and stones is the best we can hope for. No?
But yes, it is apparently in concert to encircle Lebanon from the north, as also an attempt by Erdogan, President Erdogan of Turkey, to broaden his influence in Syria while creating a buffer to cushion Turkey from Kurdish predations. We all know that the Turks are very sensitive to the insurgency of the Kurds. And so Erdogan
This person is way too pro-Turkish for me. Erdogan is crazy.
wants to create a buffer in northern Syria. Turkey's spearheading of the incursion is being widely speculated upon. I mean, almost everybody is saying that Erdogan is involved. While the attack has come as a surprise, I'm told the HTS has been training for a long time. In fact, many local journalists on the social media say that they are not surprised at all. They saw this coming because the HTS has been training for a long time, even setting up a college for professional combat training in rebel-held territory. So it seems to be quite a professional outfit. Assad has received this time, apart from Turkey, is receiving a great deal of support from the Arab world. The UAE has offered moral and financial support. I'm told Shia militias from Iraq have been moved as reinforcements into Syria, as also the Russians have committed Wagner troops along with a battalion of FPV drones. So, reinforcements and assistance from Assad's friends and allies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like his analysis. I mean, like the facts are good. I just don't like the way he, frames it, I guess. Somebody bought a coffee for aspirin. Get well soon. Thank you so much. Whoever that was. It's really helpful. Maybe I can show it to you. You guys can see. Got coffee. Who else is there? Oh, this is another Christian print, my favorite.
Shalom, everybody. As we said, that this invasion, even though the one is doing it, is Al-Qaeda, this is nothing but the Erdogan, the filthy scumbag. And then they will say to you, the Syrian rebels, which, it's a big joke. And look, this is Al-Hadath TV station. Very well-known TV station, like Al Jazeera, but it's owned by Saudi Arabia. The title is, as you see in the screen here.
Oh, that's actually interesting to see how, did you say Al-Hadath? It's interesting how they covered it up. Thank you. How do I read it? Kurs Bratan for the aspirin. Thank you. Isn't it aspirin for like your blood or something?
Very well-known TV station, like Al Jazeera, but it's owned by Saudi Arabia. The title is, as you see in the screen here, videos showing that the Turkish flag in the top of the castle of Halab, or the citadel of Halab. And as you see, they are putting the flag of Turkey. So here the question is, as usual, Erdogan is not enough. He took all the land from Syria, all the land from Armenia, all the land from Iraq. It's not only enough he did genocide against Armenian, Turkish, Assyrian. They never have enough. Turkish are Turkish.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't know
good
what to
point.
say. You know, if somebody expecting a hyena to become something better, obviously you are a fool. How and why the Turkish flag is here? Because simply Erdogan is announcing that he took the city of Aleppo. But for how long? I don't think he will have it for long. Here in Arabic, in fact, if you use your if your phone can translate, like you can use your camera lenses, and you can translate the language you see in Arabic. These days you do not need to speak languages really to be able to translate. Rising the Turkish flag in the top of the citadel of Aleppo. So it's clear, as I said from the beginning, people they said to me, why you are saying it's a Turkish invasion? If you remember the video I made 2 days ago and nobody watching as usual, we have only like 22,000, something like that. Thank you very much for not sharing. And the video before this one too, I mean this one here I will post, and the video I'll post a few hours, and a few thousand people watch. But anyway, I do my part.
I love it. That is like playing on the heartstrings. I'm with you. It's like I also ask people to share, and nobody's sharing. I work so hard, and yet.
They say to me, why you are saying Turkish invasion when those are not Turkish? My friend, every hunter have dogs. When the dogs hunt, they hunt for the hunter, not for them. The dogs get bones. The hunter, he get the deer. Leave your comment and prove me wrong.
Here, I want to see this one.
In this video, we are breaking down the...
Who is involved in the Syrian civil war? Right. Just for fun. And then how about tomorrow? I'm gonna go through the video I've made about the Middle East without Israel, and I can tell you all about my stupid jokes that I've made during that video. I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So let's see what Maratusi is saying. It's fun sometimes he gets things wrong from time to time, to be honest.
The key players in the Syrian civil war. With so many groups involved, it can get confusing. But don't worry, I will quickly explain who they are and what their agendas are. Let's start with the Syrian Arab Army. The Syrian Arab Army, or the SAA, is the official military of the Syrian government, loyal to President Bashar al-Assad, and it seeks to regain full control of Syria and suppress opposition forces. Next is the National Defense Forces.
Oh, that's nice. He's giving a rundown. Okay, guys, you should go watch it if you guys want to a rundown on who is who there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, guys. Thank you all for being here. I think I'm gonna let you all go to sleep. I see Dylan is tired already, so let's let him sleep. And let me see if there are any last things. The bottom line is that Syria is a mess, and it's gonna stay a mess. And the whole Middle East is a mess. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Good night, everybody.